where he lifted the trophy and became $200,000 better off.
Gorilla
That was
and
under
the
Union lad.
GoalMachine.
Times have changed. He's now with Team Stark.
Yeah, well, what a massive game this is. And let's talk about some of the big shocks today as well. Ajax Danny out the competition. Marcus Gomes out the competition. Joey, both Ajax representatives out the competition before we even got to knockout stages, Richard, which is not good for Ajax. They'll be very disappointed.
Danny already had his qualification spot pretty much wrapped up, but for Joey, it was make or break here at the playoffs, and unfortunately didn't live up to not only the mark of the rest of the competition around him, but to his own personal mark, going out in a little bit of a dud firework, you've got to say. 1-4 was Ajax, Joey.
As we said, this is the last round of the day, where some players will stay in the competition and live on to fight tomorrow. Here's a mistake. Here's GoalMachine now breaking forward in that team rope jersey. And really well done by Rio Ferdinand. Great to see him still involved in this 11-man team for Gorilla. And Gorilla really is one of the Hall of Famers for competitive FIFA. Been a staple over the last number of years.
Don't know if you remember, Manchester, all the way back. It was GoalMachine's big introduction, really, to FIFA esports, and what was the result that catapulted him onto the scene? Beating Gorilla in the 93rd minute, one of the most historic games of GoalMachine's career. Chris Trout's famous line, "Gorilla's panicking." Is he going to panic in this situation right now?
Yeah, well, he certainly did panic. What was it, back last April in that tournament? And what was GoalMachine known for back then? Birdcam, Messi,
Lozano.
Yeah, Alessandrini, you know, the super subs that were coming on for him, because that was what he was all about, scoring goals. It's literally in the name for this man. He is 5th in the Global Series rankings, is GoalMachine. You know, he's pretty much on for the final. He's already been given his scarf. For Gorilla, though, he needs points. He needs to get himself an early goal. That's exactly what he's going to do. 13 minutes in.
Nice, Gorilla.
The perfect start for him. And goals are going in all around us. Zidane has got himself a goal as well to get himself underway against Rebel Painter in that game. So many goals flying in. Another UK matchup as well. We've got Dragon against Battle Cat. That's another big game. Night Watch is in action as well. Kurt is in this round.
Yeah, it's stacked, this final round of Swiss right now. One thing that I want to address, really, when we're talking about Gorilla is because he's been around for so long, back in FIFA 16, back in FIFA 17, he had this sort of aura about him, a little bit like Man United back in the Sir Alex Ferguson days. People went to Old Trafford and you were scared. You didn't want to play against him. Do you think Gorilla still has that aura about him? Or because he's been beaten at events, because people have taken him down, Tex has taken that mantle off him, do you think he still has that fear factor around him?
Well, I think the one thing that you can never take away from someone like that is a World Championship. He's always going to have that in his resume. He's always going to be known for that. And of course, naturally, you know, performances have dipped throughout the season for not just Gorilla. He's been up and down. He's been at a number of events. There's a reason why. You know, he's sitting in 28th position at this tournament now, and he's in a fantastic position. Here we go. There's a chance now for GoalMachine. Lovely feet from him. The shot comes in, and Van der Sar can collect that one pretty easily. But I still think there is that fear factor. When you play against Gorilla, you don't forget about how many titles, how many checks, how many trophies that this man has won.
I feel like as GoalMachine's a newer player onto the scene, it's less for somebody when you're playing against Gorilla. Very similar to...
He's beaten him as well. In his mind, he's beaten him.
He's already beaten him. And also when you played against somebody who, for example, when Gorilla's winning these trophies in FIFA 16, Texi's 13, he's 14 years old. He might not even be watching competitive FIFA, for example. You're coming into it with a fresh mindset. This is just another player I need to beat. This is just another player who is in my way to lifting a trophy.
If you cast your mind back to, I want to say, one of the really early tournaments this year in Bucharest, Richard, that game, it was between Tex and Gorilla. And for me, one of the most entertaining games I've seen this season. It was back and forth, and that's one of the best performances I saw from Gorilla there. Even though he may have lost that game still, how good he was. Both players, yeah. Goalkeeper movement, time finishing, all of that into account. He was so good. He will come forward again. Lovely ball into Mbappe. And quite a routine save in the end for De Gea.
I'm sure people have their own opinion on that matter. Get involved with us. Twitter and Instagram, that's what they're for. All the social medias. Be part of the conversation. Do you think Gorilla still has the fear factor around him?
I think the interesting thing as well, Richard, is that you might be able to play 10, 15 tournaments coming into the playoffs, but it's always one weekend. You could always get here in the top 60, and obviously the top 64 overall. But if you have a bad weekend that some players have, it doesn't matter about the last 10 tournaments you've had throughout the season. It doesn't matter about that. It's going to be the exact same at the FIFA E-World Cup Grand Finals. Players that turn up and don't play well, that's why, for example, Tets could be dominant all season, but if he doesn't go and do something at the final, as he just interrupts me rudely there, Kylian Mbappe, just like that, turning it on when he needs to. Sometimes you have to put Griller in a position like this to really get the best out of him.
A little dinked ball into.
Was that Ajax Danny or was that?
Mbappe on the full volley there, timed it green and just sailed over the goalkeeper. No hope of. GoalMachine's #1 there, clawing that off the line, and it's nail-biting time already for Lev Vinken, sat in the hot seat behind GoalMachine.
Yeah, back to the point I was saying was that you can have a fantastic season, but if you don't do anything at that FIFA E-World Cup Grand Final, it's all forgotten.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, last season, Rafsu underperformed at the Grand Final.
Massively. Didn't even get himself out of the group. Fake shot into the shot. Deflection over the bar for Gorilla. This is promising signs from the UK FIFA player.
Back to FIFA 17. Tass, Shells. Both of these players going in as so-called favourites. Rocky. All underperformed.
It's the pressure. The pressure of that huge, huge final where all the money is.
It does get to players.
We've seen it, I've seen players, literally, Richard, when we weren't commentating the last round, players that went out in round 6 of Swiss, there was tears. People storming out of the arena, obviously so frustrated and disappointed in themselves. But this is the end of the season for a lot of players. Yep. For some people, FUT Champions Cup #6 was the end of the season. Champions League was the end of the season. Different stages throughout the year have been people's end of the season. I remember last year, it was pretty much that case at the playoffs again. Here comes Griller, R9, straight away with a shot! And straight into the back of the net again. 3-0. And he can smile. There's still a second leg to come, but everything he seems to hit is literally turning to goal.
He's cruising right now. Is Gorilla. He's not had a lot of chances, but the chances he had, he's taken.
That doesn't even need to be timed. Just smashed it into the back of the net.
You can see the overhead shot there of the studio that we're in. The lasers in full effect, surrounding the players.
That was very interesting there from Van der Sar. Then he took a very heavy touch indeed. It just seems to be a hole in this defensive line for GoalMachine that has been a problem for quite a while now. Needs to get himself a goal from this attack. Does go down and somehow does bait a penalty out of Huge Gorilla.
Yeah, you just saw the little drag back there. Sergio Ramos coming across clumsy more than anything. This drag back just opened up the space for him.
It's a lifeline for him. GoalMachine steps up with Ronaldo straight down the middle.
Burshot.
Gets right again, and you have to think all these little things are adding up, Richard, into what has been a stellar performance so far from Gorilla.
Yeah, you've got, if you're playing like a fighting game, for example, that was GoalMachine's chance back in the game. And Gorilla just knocked it away completely. GoalMachine's meter right now is so low in terms of his confidence and his performance that he's putting up right now. And he knows that he's better than this. You look at some of his results this year. Atlanta, grand final, cross-console final. You're looking at an LQE in London, cross-console final. The man, he does perform when he needs to. Do you think that because he's already got a grand final spot, because he came into the top 5 player, the pressure's off really for him? It's not a big of occasion as it is for Gorilla, for the likes of Stokes, for Tass, for Kurt, hashtag Ryan, hashtag Shorey, these players that need the points. GoalMachine were in a situation that his good performances early in the season set him up to be relaxed for this.
It's definitely a debate to have, but you have got the factor of prize money up for grabs here. One of the biggest payouts other than the Champions League, $75,000 to whoever will win each individual playoff, $250,000 prize pot in total. He may have a grand final spot indeed, but he needs something to take into that final. And going out in Swiss would not be something that you really want to take forward with you. Huge save from Van der Sar. And Mbappe tries to just flick it over. Rafael Varane, no luck there. And still, this game does sit 3-0 to Gorilla. Save the penalty. And he could be on for a fourth now. He's just offside.
And a lot of people coming into this tournament were saying Gorilla's looking really good on the Xbox. He's playing against a lot of pros, especially in the UK, and he's very, you'd say, sort of hitting his patch right now. Quite similar to what he did in FIFA 17 with, obviously there were less events, but Madrid, that was the last event before Berlin and the grand finals in London. He got a cross-console final, losing to Principe in Madrid in FIFA 17. He peaks towards the end of the year. Is he doing the same right now? Is he peaking at the perfect time?
Could you imagine if he, went and did a fantastic run in this tournament? Obviously, we have got knockouts tomorrow and on Sunday, so keep your weekend free. So much competitive FIFA to come up over the next few days here in Hamburg. The next weekend straight off to Berlin, Richard. So much at stake for these playoffs. We're still just trying to find out the last handful of pros that will be in the knockouts tomorrow. At the moment, Gorilla will be a part of that conversation. Lovely fake shot. Mbappe again. And another great save. This time we'll go straight out for a corner.
Yeah, didn't time that one, but forced the save from David De Gea.
I'm just looking back to Gorilla's goals individually. I think one of them he timed yellow. One wasn't timed at all. And the first goal, it might have been timed green. Other than that, it hasn't really been that precise when it comes to time finishing, but he hasn't needed to. He's got players that have got unbelievable stats from distance. Could it be 4? Oh,
that's really good goalkeeper movement. He timed it white, which means that the time shot didn't register in the end. It was just a normal shot right there, but the goalkeeper movement just switching him across to that left-hand side, making him strong at the near post. That's why he used De Gea as well. That it might not say on his particular attributes and his traits, but he definitely, there's something with the feet with David De Gea. There's something with the feet.
There's something there. We've seen it a number of times today as well, and there's a perfect example you just saw there, just an outstretched leg. Here's Ronaldo once again. Watch out for the back post. Going to fake shot inside, drag back nearly through the legs of Dumfries. No luck that time, but I've just had something that's come to mind, Richard. I don't know if you remember. You got both coaches. Fully was actually once a coach of Lev, who's sitting across him from him right now.
Yeah.
Ages ago, so it was back in...
Just a big FIFA circle that goes round and round.
But speaking of Fully, he's not a bad hype man behind you to have when you're 3-0 up, you're feeling good. Because I've seen Fully a few times when players haven't been playing well say, you're not doing this right. That's no wonder you're not winning games. Pause cued by GoalMachine. Just go over 20 minutes to try and claw a goal back or two to take into this second leg. This is round 7 of Swiss. Still waiting to find out those last few names. It'll be thrown into the knockout. Looks for the same type of finish, and it's not going to work for him. We'll go into that pause now. We are looking at Gorilla's lineup here. Will he be making a change? Will he need to make another change? Sitting in a 4-4-2 at the moment. Well, both players sitting in a 4-4-2. We're just waiting to see that change if it is needed by GoalMachine. He's clearly not happy with something. Maybe a formation change from him.
Both players rolling with a 4-4-2. I know Gorilla, he likes to have 2 strikers up top, whether that be in a narrow 4-1-2-1-2. Sometimes you feel you have to play 4-2-3-1 because it is so strong. But he likes having that 2-striker formation with Mbappe and Neymar up top. That's a hell of a lot of pace. CR7, R9 out wide can both do a job for you. He's got, looks like moments Ronaldinho on the bench, moments Pele. Eusebio is going to be the man coming on for him on the side of Gorilla. GoalMachine also adopting to bring on Eusebio by the looks of it.
So it really isn't a bad bench, a stat one, to say the least. That's played short and nearly played straight into the path of Gorilla there. Neymar was lurking for it. You can see some of the changes made there. Eden Hazard will come on.
Havertz as well.
But can any of those changes be the players to at least get him a goal back heading into the second leg?
When we saw him earlier, we were playing Hazard at centre mid, weren't we? In a 4-4-2, we were playing at left centre mid.
Look at Eusebio. He's in the middle if he can get there. No, slightly too heavy. GoalMachine again, not happy. The Gorilla right now, you're just seeing indicators of someone that's very frustrated. They're not happy with something.
He played 4-3-2-1 quite a bit last year, did GoalMachine. I think he's dabbled with a 4-3-1-2. He's quite versatile in his formation, but does that also show someone who doesn't know the best formation?
That's exactly what he needed. I was going to say, I thought I was going to drop right into the bottom corner. Took the finesse, nothing fancy about it, just wide of the goal. I don't even know if the keeper got a hand on that. Is it time for Ibra, for Gorilla?
Stick Ibra on. Stick him at right mid.
Is it time to come on and maybe join Eusebio up top, or does he want to bring on Messi? He's got prime Ronaldinho as well.
I like that. Defensive changes. Centre half swap. Van Dijk, get on. See out the game for me. 15 minutes left.
To take that 3-goal lead, or make it 4 into the second leg. Could be huge. Rio Ferdinand, he comes off.
He's fully deep down the Tony Pulis of FIFA esports. He's getting in there. Make the defensive change. Get him on. See out the game.
Well, that's risky. A substitute, though. Van Dijk happy enough just to... Gorilla is on flames, and what a time to really start playing well. Round 7 of Swiss. When you need a performance, a huge, huge performance. This is only the first leg, and he's 4-0 up. And again, it wasn't even time. Just straight to the back of the net, Eusebio. He's fresh. You've said how good he is at finishing this year, Richard. One of your key players, your new icons, obviously, that came into the game this year that you've always been impressed by. There's a prime example of him. That's
what Eusebio can offer you as well. He offers you that 5-star weak foot, so you don't have to always go on the right foot. You can go on the left foot. You can offer that left-footed finish. It doesn't have to be timed. Just put your laces through it, hit it through